Okay, this video will show you how to create a turned lathe leg profile for your existing table, and also a little detail at the bottom of the leg. Firstly, what we're going to do here is pick up the tape measure tool and just double check that our measurement between our draw base and our bottom rail is 200 millimeters, which it is. We're going to make sure we select the leg here. That's really important as it's a component. With the pencil tool, come down 10 millimeters. And what we're going to do here is just draw a line horizontally across the leg there, 10 millimeters below the draw bottom rail there, and similarly we're going to draw a line that's 10 millimeters above the bottom rail here. That's just to give us our 10 mil clearance for when we're turning the leg. We don't want to be turning any closer than that towards that bottom rail. That bottom rail needs to go in on a square piece of the leg. So effectively here, we'll just double check with the tape measure tool. We should have 180 millimeters, which we do. Okay, once we've drawn that, we're actually going to, I'm going to point you towards the Industrial Tech Timber website, and if you go there and go to the Year 10 Timber Task 1 drop down and navigate down to where you see this video. It's not there at the moment because I'm recording it now, but next to it you'll see here a sign. Click here to download the squared around .skp. That's a SketchUp file I've created. You just have to press download here. This is basically a square to round profile, and that'll go to your downloads. Basically to help you join your square leg to your round profile, your lathe profile. Go to File, Import, and make sure you navigate to your downloads there, but you've got to make sure that in the format tick down here you've got SketchUp files, otherwise it won't come up. Select squared around, and it will import that little SketchUp file I've created for you. And as you see here, basically it's got a square bottom and a round top. So it's just a little bit of a connector between your square leg and the round profile we're about to create. Okay, a little something I forgot to do here. Just double click on your leg again here. We're just actually going to extrude that timber out. You'll notice when we get the push pull tool here, it does it for all four legs, which is another bonus of component editing, because those four legs are the same and we haven't made them unique. They will all disappear. So that gives us room basically now to create our profile that we will make on the lathe. We're going to pick the pencil tool here and we're going to draw on the vertical plane here 160 millimeters. It's really important that that's 160. Okay, and we're going to come across 20. So those dimensions very important, 160 high and 20 millimeters across. We'll end up with a rectangle like this. That's going to be our area for a profile. Now we're going to pick up the circle tool. It's really important here that we draw a circle on the horizontal plane here. You can see I'm playing around here, that it'll go blue. So pick that circle up from the inside of the profile to the edge there. So it has a radius of 20 exactly. That's really important so that it matches up with our squared around profile that you've imported. Okay, I'm just going to plot some points here that I'm going to use as a midpoint there for my profile. Now you will do this individually as per whatever profile you are choosing to do. This one I'm just picking the midpoints and then the midpoints of that main midpoint, so I can draw my profile with an arc. So the main midpoint and then my sub midpoints, I guess. And you'll see in a sec when I get the arc tool, that will give me points to then draw that in. I'll pick up that arc tool. I always use the 3-point arc tool. I find that's the easiest to use. So start and end point, and then you can use that second point there, or that midpoint, to then do the third point of the arc. That comes down to personal preference there, but basically whatever tools you need to draw your profile there, your edge profile of whatever you're wishing to do. This is a nice and simple one. It doesn't need to be overly fancy or difficult. Now it's important you go View Tool Palettes, Large Tool Set. So we need the Follow Me tool. So we're going to choose the Follow Me tool here. This can be quite simple. Basically what we're going to do is select our profile there and hold down the Command key. And then basically go to the circle at the bottom. And that will make the profile for us. Really important that you select that profile and select the press the Command key down and then select the circle at the bottom. That's an important step. Alright, and that's going to give us our room here. Now we need to basically put that squared around profile on the bottom of our leg profile here. So I'm just going to select it and get the Move tool from that endpoint and drag it onto the base of our leg profile. That was why it's really important to have a 20mm radius circle before, otherwise they won't match up. Okay, now we're going to need to select that squared around profile at the bottom and copy and paste it because we need to put it up the top now. Obviously we're going to need to flip that 180 degrees. And then we can move it onto the top of our rounded lathe profile. Now we're going to select this whole, the 3 pieces, and select Make Group. That's so we can drag it up onto our leg. Select the Move tool. Make sure you grab the end point so that it easily can tack onto our leg here. To find that point, you can click and it will paste it in place. Now we're going to make sure we copy the entire leg profile there and paste for the other 3 legs. You can pick up the paint bucket tool and then paint it with your whatever timber you've chosen there, texture you've got for the rest of the table. And is that part completed. Now we're going to move on to the base of the leg and put a bit of profile in, because it looks a bit chunky now that we've taken some of that timber out for the lathe part. I'm just going to do a simple angle here that goes both ways. Make sure you've got the leg selected. Again, make sure you're editing that component, not just drawing on top of it. I'm going to do this even with the bottom rail here, so I'm just going to draw a line across there to the edge from the bottom rail and then across the front face there. Alright, I'm going to draw in 10mm from each corner at the bottom here. Draw a line and just type in 10 and press enter. I'm going to connect that line of those dots, so 10 in from the bottom, connect that with the top point. I'm simply going to get the push-pull tool, push-pull that material away. You'll notice this is doing it on all four legs again. We're going to do a similar thing here, so 10mm in from the other edge and join that line up to the top, and the same on the other side. This time I'm going to show you that we're going to try and extrude it, push-pull, and it's not going to quite work. Because we're on that angle already, it's going to basically extrude on an angle up and not take out all the material. End up something awkward like that. And the reason is because of that angle on the leg already. So what we effectively have to do here is draw in all our lines that we require. So up the top here and on the base of the leg, to draw in basically all of our lines as if we were drawing it manually, and then delete the lines that we don't need. So I'm just going to draw in all those lines and go in on the reverse side of the leg here, draw those angular lines in again from that face. Okay, so once I have all those lines in the whole way around that profile, I can then pick up the eraser tool and erase those outside lines that I don't need. This is a good trick for any time you need to draw at an awkward angle. Again, we only have to do it to one leg as it's component editing, and it's already happened on the other three. Okay, so just doing a simple little angle like that kind of makes the table a little bit more suitable as an overall piece. Okay, and that's the end of the video for doing the lathe profile and the angle at the bottom of the leg.